Feet hip width apart. Just keep the awareness underneath the arches of the feet. So a little bit of tension, draw up the arches, soften the knees ever so slightly, just to get the pelvis to get a bit of movement, and then tuck the pelvis under. Then a little bit higher, just think about rolling the shoulders down and back. A little bit of a lift on the rib cage, but not flaring open. Length at the back of the neck, so that crown of head is shining up towards the ceiling. Perhaps palms facing forwards, it tends to help you open the chest. 10 times, pull in pelvic floor, pull in TVA for a second, 100%, and then a slow release. So just go for a couple first. Find the pelvic floor and pull in. Then find the TVA, so hollowing down to the hips where the tummy button is, and then a slow release. So 10 times, ready, pulling in nice and fast, 100%, slow release, and pulling in, slow release, pulling in, slow release, pulling in. Just be aware you've got both of them coming in, pulling in. You can do one and then the other, and slow release. Check you're not holding your breath, pulling in, and slow release, for left, pulling in. Notice if you're holding any tension there in the jaw or the eyebrows, so if you can just let go, pulling in, slow release. 2 left, pull in, 100%, slow release. Keep breathing normally, pulling in. Slow release it down to 50%. The engagement still stays there, but not so much that you hold your breath. So we're going to just go for a nice big arm circle. Breathe in, lift up the arms, breathing out, circle them down and around. Breathing in left, breathing out, coming down. Now see if you can keep the awareness in the ribcage. So try not to let the ribcage kind of flare open at this point. So ground down through the feet, keep the pelvis tucked under. Try not to arch in the lower back and keep the core tucked in. If you are looking down at the screen, if you can, try not to put the whole head down, so just use your eyes, look down. Adding in balance if you choose, up onto the toes. Just stretch out the feet, a little bit of work for the ankles. Breathing in, lift, breathing out, coming down. Find that pelvic floor on your balance. 3 more. Again, try not to open and flare up the rib cage, so keep the core engaged, pelvis tucked under. Last one. Super slow roll down, so it's a chin to chest. Soften knees. Think about releasing lower back, come down. Maybe just brush the floor with your fingertips, knees bent, and then lifting back up. And again, just open chest, turn palms to the side. And again, chin into chest. Slow roll arms down towards your mat. And then uncle. And again, I'm just going to adjust my camera. One more. This time, put in a ragdoll. So you come down, chin into chest. And then you can do either holding onto opposite elbows. And it's just a gentle sway side to side. So you almost nose, it's not touching your knees, but it goes across towards one knee and then over to the other. Knees are deeply bent. So we're thinking more about the lower back release, more so than a hamstring workout here. Slowly uncurl, untie from the elbows. Look forwards, find that opening on the chest, and we'll go for one more ragdoll. So chin into chest, slow roll down. Same thing, just let yourself relax, your shoulders relax, and then interlink. Or if you prefer, arms straight, and then you can literally just draw a nice semicircle, fingertips just brushing on the mat. Knees can be bent. Head just hangs in between the arms. Try not to hold the breath. And then come to center and just slowly curling up And we're going to go to a side bend. I'm going to put my weights into this, so option to add in your weights. So you can take hold of them. And it's just breathing out, hips nice and still, reaching down to the side of the knee. Always think about the shoulder just dipping down, as well as the hand reaching down. Engage the core, pelvic floor, TVA pulled in. If you don't have weights and you're working with more of a stretch, you could think about taking the arm up and over and working to your side bend. So breathing out, bring it down. Keep that engagement with the pelvic floor, TVA. The pelvis is tucked under, so we're not arching in the lower back. So without the weights, you can really work into your stretch. Slide the hand down. Breathing out as you extend. See if you can really straighten the arm if you're doing your stretch. One more. Then we're going to go to a scapular set, and again I'm going to do this one with the weights. Just take the shoulders down and back, elbows tucked into your sides, driving the thumbs in towards the back of your room, and recenter. Should feel that on the backs of the shoulders. Sometimes I feel this from the shoulder down across the chest as well, so that can be another one, particularly if you've kind of been in bad posture a little bit, or like me, washing up loads. And 10 people for breakfast this morning. And they've never designed sinks high enough, have they, for good posture? Adding into this, you could take a single leg lift, so take it into balance if you want. So just take the foot to the side. Another option is to take the foot across. So it's a little bit more harder because you're coming across that midline, so it works a little bit more with your balance. It's almost like a little football kick. Then swap legs again to start with just a leg lift. Just helps warm up kind of around the hips. Well, it helps us with balance. Or maybe the football kick. Keep the pelvis tucked under, keep working with the core muscles. It is hard when you do the crossbody one, isn't it? One more. So again, with or without the weights, hug. So give yourself a hug. So you can do this with the weights as well. And then open out to like a big Y, big star. And then again a hug. And then again into a big star. Now we can really work with this. So we can go into a hug, come forwards, and then open out and lift. So think about the pelvis being tucked under. Press down into the feet. Engage the core. A little bit of engagement there on glutes as well. Two more. You can almost look down, take a gentle look up if you want to in there as well. Last one. So we're going to go to our squats next then. I'm going to keep on with the weights. I'll just adjust my camera, so again, optional for you. Come down, so hips back into space, feet hip width apart. So take the weights forwards, and then we're going to pulse 2 and 3 and then lift. So you come down into your squat 2 and 3 and then lift. Down. Little lift, not even halfway. And lift. Down. Little kind of tease, isn't it really? Watch the feet. Check the arches don't drop. Knees don't pronate. Looking forwards. Shoulders relaxed. It's getting those glutes to fire for ready when you're doing your nice big lift. Last one. And then release. So my next one, I've got it all written down. So it's a wide squat. So take a nice wide stance and you can let your feet turn out slightly. Squat down like a sumo here. Then big circle all the way around. Okay? Then lift. Squat down. You got your weights? Or no? Recenter and then lift. Okay? Squat down. Big circle. Quite hard if you're working with heavy weights, that. And lift. Squat down, sumos. All the way around. You've got to pull in the core. You've got to stabilise all the way around as you do your circles. And lift. 2 more. It's actually quite challenging. Last one. And down. Big circle it round. And re-centre. Now I have gone a bit crazy on the squats today. These are without weights. Okay, so come down, hips back into space. So think about releasing lower back. Then see if you can go on your toes, arms out to the sides, and it's circles. So if it's too much on your toes, you're going to be here. Otherwise you're taking the balance, strengthening feet and ankles. Circle the other way around. And then lifting that back up. Maybe onto toes or heels down. And then again. Down. Balance. Circles. Woo. Other way around. And lift. Just one more. Bring it down. Find the balance. I'll show you sideways on as well. Rip on those toes. Circles. Other way around. Lifting up and out. One more, then working with this idea of balance. Come down into squat. Into the balance. Then lift one arm and then come down. Lift the other arm. Woo. This you'll find quite tricky as you go up towards the ear. You almost want to rock back. Lifting up and out. We'll do one more. Come down. Balance. Just work with lifting one arm, then the other. Bring it back up and out. Last little bit on our balance, actually, I'll leave the camera like that. Close your eyes, transfer the weight into one foot. Normally I just don't really advise what you do with the other leg, but maybe do a bit different, a little bit of a star position on this. It's a little bit more tricky actually. Close your eyes, count to 10. Engage pelvic floor, pull in on the glutes. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed. Once you've done your 10 seconds, open eyes, and then to go for your heel lifts. So if you can do 8 heel lifts, see if you can stay in a star position. You could even add arms up, so a full star. And you can't see my arms, but they're kind of in a Y shape here. So just a little bit different. I did do a course last week with FitPro, which is my insurance company, on brain cognitive, physical exercise for the brain. And one of the big things they talked about was novelty, doing different things every week. So I'll keep working with that. So other side then, again, so if you can take your star position, close your eyes, count to 10. Find that connection from the foot, the glutes, the pelvic floor. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed. You could take an internal focus down towards the middle of your forehead is one way of doing the internal focus. Then into your heel lifts, 8 heel lifts. Just be aware of the equal weight on the foot. So you're using the ball of the foot, you're using all 5 toes. Squeezing glutes, drawing in the core. Last one. Oh, a bit of a release, a bit of a shakeout because we've got quite a lot of balance, quite a lot of squats. do a nice slow roll down and we'll meet in a downward dog. Or a puppy dog, if that one suits you a little bit more today. Think about sending the hips up towards the ceiling. Always could bend the knees if we're a little bit tight in the hamstrings. Just try and get that nice line from the hands up towards the shoulders and then up to the hips. Head sits there in between your arms. Spiral biceps towards each other. Spread the fingers. Perhaps a slow walk in the downward dog if you're feeling a little bit tight. And then just thinking about the breath here, so not holding the breath, taking some nice deep breaths. It should be invigorating, we're getting the blood rushing to the brain. We've got the heart above the head. One more breath. Then just stepping left foot forwards, drop the right knee, and we're just taking a stretch. Perhaps palms together, reach that up, point the fingertips to the ceiling. Engage the core, so find the pelvic floor, pull in TVA. So we're almost tucking in the pelvis a little bit, we're protecting a little bit of the lower back, but you should feel that hip flexor stretch. Then just think about the top four corners when you breathe. So widen the rib cage. Send the breath towards the collarbones. Thinking about lifting the breath. Then place the hands down, step back, and we'll go back into dog. So lift up the hips. Again, a slow walk if you need it, and if you're tight on your hamstrings. Or perhaps you're bending in the knees, working with the stretch on the backs of the shoulders. And then step the right foot forwards, drop the knee, check your hip width. Bring yourself up, palms together. Engage the core. Find that hip flexor stretch. Eye gaze forwards. And then we can think about that breath again. Widening the rib cage. You can almost visualize the breath going to the back of the neck. A couple more deep breaths. Placing the hands down one more time up in dog, so send the hips up. A little bit of a stretch on the backs of the legs or bending the knees. Looking towards the knees, send the chest to the thighs. And then drop that down onto all fours, knees under hips, hands underneath your shoulders. Take a moment just to pelvic tilt, neutral spine. And again, think about the top four corners, so breathing, expanding the rib cage. Think about broadening the collarbones. See where your shoulders are sat. So are your shoulders are hunched in towards the head and your ears, or are they down and back? So just think about where the shoulders and what the shoulders are doing. We're going to take a slide and an extension. So opposite leg, opposite arm, slide it on the mat and extend. Nice and simple. Bring it back. Slide, extend. Almost like you're skating on ice, you're nice and slow. Breathing out into the extension. Fingertips pointing in front, toes pointing behind. See if you can finish with a really nice straight leg, squeezing in the glutes, a straight arm. Keep an eye on the shoulders, so the shoulders should stay down and back. Not hunched up round the ears. Crown of the head in line with the spine. And you should feel the glutes kind of engaging, squeezing on the left, relaxing on the lower. Eye gaze to the front of the mat. Option to progress, just lift up the back foot. So you're working a little bit more on balance. You've got your hand and you've got your knee in touch with the mat. So then we've got to really think about the pelvic floor, the TVA, to stabilize the move. 4 more. Breathing out into the extension. 2 to go. Last one, go for a nice long reach. Sing this way. Legs crossed. Grab a cushion or a block if you normally have one. You want to get nice and lifted. So if you need, take a time just to press down. Lift up the rib cage. Take the shoulders down and back. Big deep breath. Open out the top 4 corners. Palms together. And maybe even underneath the chin into the sternum. Because it does help really get the shoulders down and back. And shoulders nice and square. Breathe in, get tall. Breathing out, spine twist. And breathing in to get tall. You need to engage again, pelvic floor. Breathing out for your twist. Should feel it on those long strands, either side of the spine. One more, because we're going to take this into the saw. So again, there's another little bit of work on the hamstrings. So, legs straight, flex the feet. Need a bit of space because I'm going to add in a sweep to this. Flex the feet up to the ceiling, so you're engaging hamstrings. Arms out again, lift chest, shoulders down and back. Breathe in, get tall. Breathing out into a twist. Breathe in, get tall. Breathing out. 1 and 2 and 3. Now, as you twist out, hand down, lift. Then you're going to go to the other way. Breathing out, breathing in. 3 pulses into there. Then as you twist out, you go into your hip left, reach the hand up. Breathing out. Now if you're struggling, you really want to touch your feet, you can place the hand that's behind the body. Push down into the mat. Just be careful of the back. Into your sweeps. Up to you how much you want to sweep in there. Breathing in. You start to get a little bit of flow if you can. 2 more. Think about the chin dipping down as well, because the head can really help drive you in this move. Last one. Feet together, perhaps a little bit of a shake. Palms together, namaste.